So then we can say, all right, that means that if I'm on the Lydian, and I go up by 4, 1, 2, 3. Wait a sec, I'm on the Lydian. I go up by 3. 1, 2, 3 lands me in the ocean, right? And if I'm on here and I go up 1.5, it's going to land me in between the X and the Y. If I made that the 1 and I went up 1, 2, you would think it would be 2.5 in between here, but no, they call that the third and indicate that it's a step back by the minor notation is the normal notation. All right, let's do the YA plus modal range, which is a 4 to a 4.5 modal range. Distance is going to be 5 modal half steps from the Lydian mode, which is going to be a 2.2. Wait a sec, this should be 2.5. I'm sorry, I should correct that. 2.5 distance, modal half steps. So if I'm on the Y here and I go up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, lands me in the ocean. If I'm on the Y here and I go up 2, should be 2.5. It'd be 1, 2.5, lands me in between the Aeolian and the Locrian node. All right, let's do the next one. We're going to go down here. We're running long on time. Let's see if we can make this faster. It's a YI plus modal range, or a 4 to a 1.5 modal range. Has a distance of an 8 node away Lydian 4.5 modal half step, which you would think would be a 5.5 scale degree, but no, we rounded up to 6 on the scale degrees, but then indicate that it's flattened, landing you in the ocean from the perspective of the major scale with the minor notation. So then if we're on the Lydian, we go up 8. So Lydian up 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lands me in the ocean between the Ionian and Dorian nodes. If we're on the Lydian here and we go up the 4.5, 1, 2, 3, 4.5 lands me between the Ionian and the Dorian. If we make that the 1 and we go up 5.5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5, you would think this would be 5.5 scale degree, but again, they call it a 6th and then say that we're flattening it with the minor. So then if we have this one, it would be a 10 node away Ionian. Wait a second, that's not right. Where am I? I'm in a YD plus modal range, which is a 4 2.5 modal range, which is going to be a 10 node away from the Lydian node, 5.5 modal half steps forward, which you would think would be 6.5 scale degree, but they rounded up to a 7th and indicate that it's flattened from the perspective of the major scale with the minor. So that's going to be then, if I go up from the Y up 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, lands me in the ocean. If I'm on the Y here and I go up 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it would be then landing me, I'm sorry, between 5, it would be between these two. Is that right? I went up 5.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5 would be in between here, and it would be 6.5 if I made the Y the 1, but they don't use 6.5 again. They round it up to the 7. Okay, let's see if we can get the last major mode here. So we'll do this quickly. This is going to be the 5th. Which would be the Mixolydian, the bluesy mode. So this is the one that has everything that's going to be the same as the Ionian distance-wise, except that it has that cool bluesy minor 7 in it that gives it that tone to it. So that's the key. So we've got then an XX modal range, which is going to be a 5-5 modal range right there. We're not moving anywhere. So that's going to be a 0 notes away from the Mixolydian node, and it's going to be 0 modal half steps. That would mean the first scale degree. So we would still call that a 0 note away perfect first, right? Because we would make that X the 1. But once again, I don't need to make that the 1. I'm just going to say I'm measuring from the X, which is the G, and then I just realized that this 0 note away perfect first actually means a 0 note away from whatever note I'm on, the G or the Mixolydian node. And the first means that it's off by 1, means I didn't go anywhere. It stayed on the same spot. All right, so then let's go to the next one that's in the key. That's going to be an XA modal range. So we're going to go one step up from the Mixolydian continent to the Aeolian continent, which is a 5-6 modal range. What's the distance? It's going to be a 2-node away from the Mixolydian node first modal half step, which would be the second scale degree. That's also in the Lydian mode. That's in the Ionian mode, and we would call that a 2-node away major second typically, because it would be the first modal half step up, the second's off by 1. The major's not really telling me anything if I know the distance in notes, which is 2 notes away. So if I'm on Mixolydian, I go up 2, lands me in the Aeolian continent. If I'm on the Mixolydian and I go 1 note up, then that lands me on Aeolian. That's the first modal half step. If I make that the 1, then that would be 1, 2, second scale degree. But I don't want to make that the 1 because it's stupid. All right, so then we go to this one. It's a YN modal range. It's an XN modal range or a 5-7 modal range. Those are the continents that we're going to. What's the distance? How many miles is it? Well, if we measure it in notes, it's going to be a 4-node away from the Mixolydian node. It's going to be if we measure it in modal half steps, it's going to be 2 modal half steps away, which if we measure it in scale degrees, the stupid way, it would be the third scale degree. A 4-node away major third. Again, it's a 4-node away third. That's the important thing. The 4-node away third will land you on a continent from the Ionian mode. It'll land you on a continent from the Mixolydian mode, and it'll land you on the continent if you do it from the Lydian and Mixolydian mode. So if I'm on the Mixolydian and I go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 lands me on the Locrian continent. If I'm on the Mixolydian and I go up 2 modal half steps, up 2 lands me on the Locrian continent. If I make that the 1 or measure it and count it as 1 instead of 0 from it, it would be 1, 2, 3. That would be the third scale degree. All right, going to the next one. We're going to say let's go to an XI modal range. So we're going from the X to the I. We're going clockwise, not counterclockwise. So we're going to say then that's the distance. It's an XI modal range, a 5-1 modal range. And that means what's the distance? Well, it's a 5-node away from the Mixolydian node, third modal half step, which would be the 4th scale degree. Typically, we call that a 5-node away perfect 4th, but the perfect isn't helping me if I know the distance, 5 notes away. 5-node away, 4th scale degree, or third modal half step. That distance is also in the Ionian. It's also in the Lydian. It's also in the Mixolydian, because 5 notes away is a very common distance and is in most of the, actually, wait a sec, it's not in the Lydian, because that's where the Lydian is crazy. So the Lydian breaks the rules right there. But it's in most, it's in the majors and the minors, and you should realize that not because of the little p, but because of the distance, because of the 5. That's the key. Not the p, that's not the key, it's the distance. All right, let's do an XD modal range, a 5-2 modal range. What's the distance? It's going to be a 7-node away Mixolydian 4th modal half step, which would be the 5th scale degree. So we usually call that a 7-node away perfect 5th. So again, we know that's a very solid interval. Most people know it because of the perfect and the perfect 5th, but that's not the thing. It should be 7/5. The 7/5 scale degree, 7-node away 5th scale degree, which would be the 4th modal half step. That's the thing that should tell you that it is very stable and is in most of the modes again. So it's in the Ionian. 7-node away from the Ionian node is a 4-node away, 4 modal half step away distance. It's in the Lydian and it's in the Mixolydian. So if I'm on the Mixolydian and I go up 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I get to the Dorian location. If I'm on the Mixolydian and I go up 4 modal half steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, I get onto the Dorian. If I make the Mixolydian the 1 and I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it would be the 5th scale degree. All right, let's go to the next one. We're going to say we're on an XP modal range, which is a 5-3 modal range. So we're going X, not counterclockwise to P, but clockwise to P. And so we're going to say, what's the distance? It's going to be a 9-node away from the Mixolydian node, 5th modal half step. So that would be the 6th scale degree. So we have a 9-node away major 6th is what we would typically call it, but the major is not the thing you want to focus on. 9 notes away, 6th scale degree, which would be the 5th modal half step from whatever node we're talking about, which in this case is the node of the mixolydian. That's what you want to convert this to in your mind, so that you don't have to think that you're in a whole nother scale and get all going around in circles, right? So that distance then is going to be in most of the major modes. It's also in the Ionian, and it's in the Lydian, and it's in the mixolydian. It's not going to be in it's not going to be in all of the non majors, in the minor modes or the Locrian. But you should know that not because of the big M, but because of the distance, 9, and the 6th modal half step, which is the sixth scale degree 5th modal half step. So that means if I go up 9 from mixolydian, I'm on mixolydian, I go up 9. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We get on to the Phrygian. If I'm on the mixolydian and I go up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm on the Phrygian. If I make the mixolydian the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the Phrygian would be the 6th scale degree. All right, let's do the last one here. We're going to say, now here's the weird one for the mixolydian. We're on a 10 note away. That's the one that works, not the 11 note away. That's the one that makes it bluesy. That's the one that makes it different than the major scale. So it's an XY modal range, which is a 5/4 modal range, which has a distance of a 10 note away from the mixolydian node 6th modal half step, which would be the 7th scale degree. So we call that a 10 note away minor 7. Now remember that normally this minor 7 means that it would be like a 0.5. It would be a 6.5 from the perspective of the majors. So this basically means that it would be a 7, but it's been flattened from the perspective of the major, right? But from the perspective of the minor, you would think it would usually indicate that it's in the minor modes, which would be the minor scale, Aeolian mode, and the Dorian, and the Phrygian, which this one typically is, but that's not always the case, as we saw with the minor second. All right, so if we go 10 note up from mixolydian, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.